Hey, I'm Crazy, and today I'll be trying out Falconeer Chronicles Bulkwark, which this is just a demo. It's currently not released out on Steam yet, but it will be released in, I don't know when, but it's currently just as a free demo on Steam.
Welcome to Bulkwark, a game about chaotic creativity. No conventional controls, one button to paint the landscape, another to move about. And while you paint towers and walls, people will start to make the world come alive. Keep building, that's the trick. This can be confusing at first, overwhelming even, but don't worry, there's also no mistakes.
Like I said, it is it's not free, but it's currently in a demo being developed from what I saw, a single dev. But essentially it is how it describes itself on the Steam page is craft your own empire of fortresses and battlements atop lonely island peaks through a unique 3D building system. Build mighty and high as danger comes from the air in this open world of warbirds, dragons, and airships. Yeah. They do say there is lore, so if you care for that, then that works. But right now, it's...
This is the campaign mode.
Yeah.
Here you get a taste of the open world building sandbox. It has a basic tutorial, a word of advice. Click and build everywhere. There are no mistakes and slowly figuring out.
Yep, so it's essentially just saying go ahead and just build everywhere and anywhere that you like. Campaign, it's kind of the basics, but let's get started.
Ah, you're finally here. We've already built a few essential
Alright.
buildings. I'll assist you in connecting things up and getting the settlement up and running. While you're on the ground, we will focus on a single building at a time. This will allow you to build outward in a variety of ways and upwards later on. First, connect this outpost to the wood mill, which is located down in the shallow water beside the sea tree fungi. Without wood, we cannot build.
Yeah, so you move currently I'm using mouse keeper, but yeah, up there, move your mouse and then move it towards the windmill. Press right mouse button.
Notice how workers are already building houses and industry along the walkway. Wherever you build and our workers can reach, they will settle. Let's now focus on the wood mill.
There is detail there. Trout.
This is your wood mill. It produces and transports wood across walkways. Let us build a basic wooden tower with a walkway towards it. You just built a basic tower. It is used to connect up your settlement and transport vital resources. Workers will also build homes and industry around it.
So this seems basic, but it could do a little bit of cleaning up, or just at least some notifications or some movements. Kind of how some games will just like direct you with an arrow to move from one, or like, hey, click on here, or right mouse button, and kind of describe it. I mean, up here is fine, but
wood can only travel a limited number of walkways away from the wood mill. But this can be increased by encouraging workers to build along walkways connected to the wood mill. Good work. The wood mill is now delivering wood further than before, so we can move on. Across from the wood mill, we also built a stone quarry. Let's connect that to our...
yeah, so I kind of did a little bit before and played a little bit, which I can understand a little bit more, but you essentially just right click to build and then left click to move around. And I think while middle mouse button will move the camera around.
This resource extractor is missing access to workers. This stone quarry works similarly to your wood mill. It produces stone that can travel a limited number of walkways. We can use this stone to upgrade various buildings and walkways. And, just like the wood mill, By allowing workers to build around it, the stone industry can expand.
Yeah. So you just kind of have to connect buildings to one another, which makes sense. These kind of indicate like, oh, hey, these are where the resources are flowing. All that. It's a little bit confusing in terms of, okay, how does this work, essentially? Like here it says I don't have any iron, which comes later, but this one says I have only like 4 pieces out of 6 available stone, while the wood mill has that.
Great job. Now we have access to the quarry, our wooden towers can be
Basically,
upgraded
right
to
click on
stone.
an item to essentially upgrade it.
Stone towers create
kind of
stone
shows you what the kind of
walkways.
available action.
If you rebuild a walkway adjacent to a stone tower in place of a current wooden one, it will be upgraded to stone.
Yeah, essentially I can look at it, and this kind of looks a little bit understanding, but essentially these, for example, workers can only travel up to 4 squares away or 4 different towers, so this will essentially count. This will be
Select
1.
your outpost, so we can...
This will be 2, so it's hands down 1. But if I were to go here...
This stone quarry works similarly to your wood mill. It produces stone that can travel a limited number of...
I get it, yes. So if you travel, basically, per tower will reduce 1 pip of these resources, essentially. So the further away you are, the less likely you're going to get a, large amount of resources, achieved to a specific location.
Outposts can be upgraded as well. Let's use the stone to upgrade
Yes,
the
I just go ahead and
outpost
right-click
to
to
its
upgrade.
second step.
And then foundations, which... I don't really... this is the one...
The worker output of our outpost can be improved further by connecting more towers and walkways to it. We have done well. It is time we started being more ambitious. Take to the skies and seek out iron ore.
Yeah, you can base the switch on... Yeah, as I said, this is a demo, so you get a limit of 50 essentially placeables. Let's go ahead and try it.
Your surveyor allows you to build resources. The world map shows our holdings, which we can fast travel to. I will also mark any freelance
so
captains.
enter map, right click on the map to select to travel, or you can hold left click while directing your Zeppelin to move. Based in the air.
Your surveyor can build a mine on this spot. Workers will mine for ore, and the metallurgical industry will be built up around it. Iron will allow our... Several captains are now available. Each captain holds specific resources. For this trade route, iron is required, but wood is also recommended to expand the mine later.
Yeah, you do
Harbors always need to be built as pairs. As soon as you build 2, a trade route will connect them. Captains will carry your resources over vast distances. You cannot build here. There is no tower with access to wood nearby. Connect from a tower within range to a wood mill.
I mean, so far it does seem...
Harbors always need to be built as pairs. As soon as you build 2, a trade route will connect them. Captains will carry your resources over vast distances.
Go on and just build. Yeah, so yeah, just build in pairs with the... So basically you gotta play... The harbors can only be placed on deep water, while these are shallow water. Shallow water is where you can kind of build your quote-unquote bulk work or base operations. I am going to place it.
This is too close to something else.
I'm gonna place my iron stuff right.
Harbors always need to be built as pairs. As soon as you build two, a trade route will connect them. Captains will carry your resources over vast distances.
Which
Select
essentially-
your outpost so we can start expanding it further. A walkway going across the front of a harbor will obstruct ships. Make sure it connects to the rear side. Select your outpost so we can start expanding it further.
Yeah, you can kind of see I have ability to earn stone here, but like I get iron here from about 5, but once it hits 2, like around back here, you can kind of see it's going down low, so I don't have a whole lot of capabilities to have iron essentially.
With iron, we can start building defensive structures such as imposing command towers. But before doing so, we need to upgrade our outpost into a proper citadel. With all major resources now at our disposal, let's focus on building command towers. These can be built with multiple floors as well as additional foundations and balconies.
Yeah, so upgrade a basic stuff.
Mighty command towers have the potential to reach high into the sky. Their height only being dependent on the level of access to
create
workers.
stone
Build
tower.
this tower as high as possible. Change the floor you are building from. Lower floors build foundations, while higher floors build balconies and sky bridges. Command tower foundations are strong battlements that support your tower.
Yeah, essentially you can just like I'm just spamming kind of right click wherever it is, and then there isn't any like prior resource drain or cost or anything like that, but it will just let you like so far it's just letting me like spam the resource and like
Balconies are built from high floors. The more expansive your tower, the more powerful your commanders will become if they are assigned here. This command tower is looking stout. We already have an experienced warbird commander among our retinue. Let's assign them to this command tower. With all major resources now at our disposal,
yeah, so ED,
let's focus on
yeah, Q
building
and E will
command
just
towers.
move your camera left and right, which
These can be built with multiple
strange.
floors as well as additional foundations and balconies.
yeah, they can assign a commander. So I believe this is their faction that they assign, but essentially assigning a defensive.
New forces are ready nearby. Fly up to their command tower for them to join our battle group. This tower and its commander now stand watch over our settlement. Their forces will deploy, joining our battle group when the surveyor is near the command tower. Our settlement is established. We have access to resources, a citadel, and command towers. It's time to explore the surrounding area, finding more people that will help us thrive. These are desperate times, so we may need to accept unlikely neighbors. But be wary of who you invite in.
Yeah, okay, so
If they bring their old allegiances, conflict is sure to follow.
from the looks of it, in order to
Now it's all up to you. Head out and explore the Earthsea. rebuild our society as you see fit. Protect yourself and our citizens well. Good luck.
Yeah, so that's just the other basics of the tutorial. But there is, from the looks of it, several different factions. So far, it appears that I am neutral, or at least positive influence with the Free House faction, which is default. So you can always get more, but essentially what I'm learning right now is it doesn't necessarily say, but one clarification that I wish they would have is if the... Well, if I had to say, like, basically I'm learning that you can't really upgrade, like, the stone walls to... You can upgrade these stone walls, but it has to be, like, a stone tower that has to be upgraded. It won't let you just straight up upgrade to a stone tower. Well, I guess it looks like you would, but essentially have to upgrade this to a stone tower or a, like, extra tier before I can essentially physically get stone-based walls, which kind of sucks, but if they had a little bit of that clarification, it would work, but otherwise you just can right click and just change stuff, but otherwise you get like just basic stone towers. Yeah, you can essentially just upgrade towers and just build, which makes it so weird but also entertaining. We can also, like, yeah, this is just basically just let your imagination run wild and build a giant fortress, which is really interesting for those who just like building things, myself included. I like just creating and making things. So far it's not letting me create a stone thing right there at the moment, but now it's not letting me create stone, but yeah, you can just kind of... Can you guys imagine, like, you can create like huge citadels, well not almost like citadels, but just huge sprawling, like... Essentially just like huge sprawling like capital cities, etc.
You have no available commanders on your roster. Commanders and their valuable retinue can be found across the Earthsea.
Yeah, like, it doesn't necessarily say much, but you can just kind of build and just create a tower, fortress thing, kind of just in the middle, anywhere, it doesn't matter, just create a big old fortress town, which I guess is hence why they call it Bulkwark. It's interesting, you can move towers and just create large, sprawling, like, almost not cityscapes, but just large, sprawling buildings and what has it. So I believe there might be some kind of influence kind of aspects, but who knows? Yeah, essentially you can just kind of straight up upgrade walls and all that, and you kind of see it like slowly develop around here, closer towards the ground. It shows you that, hey, I had a lot of workers which can move here and around, but I'm not sure if they have like, I'm not sure a whole lot, but...
The world map shows our holdings, which we can fast travel to. I will also mark...
Which, yeah, you can fast travel and then travel. This is, there is like a ship around here. Let's go over here. You can kind of see the... just kind of travel around and explore, really.
Pay attention to the political influence of your settlement. A refugee settlement has been spotted on the horizon. Perhaps we can take these people in.
Yeah, hold left click to, like for example, I can. Yeah, progress towards pirate dominance. I guess from what it looks like, you can achieve and do something, but I'm just gonna go and accept this because I want to.
You have enrolled a trade ship captain. They can be assigned to transport goods.
Yeah, it does
Before
look like
the
it is
Great
a
War,
huge, like,
the Imperium held the resources and the
open
Mansa
world
controlled the
map
technology.
kind of deal.
Now only petty fiefdoms squabble for what little remains of Earthsea's old regime.
Yeah, so far I believe we are the free house, so. So I believe from it looks like we are free house, or just the free house. Kinda. Yeah, so we do have a smuggler, which looks like, yeah, you can hire. But this one says, this one just will basically transport only wood, so that's fairly nice.
This resource extractor is missing access to workers.
Oh, is... Yeah, so far it's... Yeah, I forgot I had to hit tab just to view the materials. I'm like, why am I not seeing it? You can kind of see that the iron will just trickle down. It doesn't actually fully come down, but...
Those aligned with the free houses now constitute the majority of your settlement. They are now the dominant political force. Trade.
It does look like there is going to be some kind of form of combat within the game here, so...
A local storm has been spotted nearby. Some factions use these as cover for their war parties. We should investigate.
Yeah, you can kind of see like, oh, stone can barely travel up here, so... Like if I were to upgrade this... Like it'll let me upgrade it and just create a bunch of stone based buildings. And it does look like you actually build like a tunnel almost in there. Yeah, so kind of like almost a tunnel, which is really nice. It actually kind of adapts to the environment. Maybe I can kind of try and attempt to build a yeah, you can just get like a big old like watchtower up here and just move around and just it's kind of hilarious. Just create like a big old yeah, and create just whatever while just kind of maintaining coolness. Yeah, so it does say I can feasibly reach iron, but iron will be only reaching here. Yeah, essentially workers, I have a lot of workers, so I guess I wish they kind of at least explained this a little bit better, but essentially it's just, or at least they could, which I get this is still in early access, but if they at least explain that each of these nodes, or at least basically, hey, it's traveling like 2 nodes or what has it from the destination source. So for example, iron, it's traveling from my harbor to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or wherever, then the amount of nodes that it's traveling to essentially reach at this location, which makes sense because you can't, like, you're kind of stretching your quote unquote resources thin. So yeah, so that just instantly built some like stone walls and just added on to it. Which it's interesting that they actually you can kind of see like it's just building over time, creating more and more resources. Or, well, not creating more and more, but it could be just creating resources to essentially kind of help you, what has it? Like here I can just create a big ol'
New forces are ready nearby. Fly up to their command tower for them to join our battle group. Those aligned with the free houses now constitute the majority of your settlement. They are now the dominant political force.
Yeah, I do like you can kind of just set away travel and just let it go, but like for example here I'm looking at the storm. Yeah, so it seems like you get like a dominant slash just whomever. Basically, you can just accept commanders, but essentially you get several different. Which, like, you can assign commanders from regardless different factions, but they'll all have their own separate slash unique kind of thing. For example, right here it says I have both Mancer and Freehouse domination, which is mixed influence. So far there is some kind of like, at least in terms of with the influence. I'm not sure how much the influence deals with much, but we'll go ahead and get started on that. Yeah, that is actually kind of almost like, it's actually kind of neat tower, which I do how it just kind of changes slash, like if it changes or if I'm just providing good enough. And like some visual changes is nice. It's quite a nice aesthetic in terms of, well, obviously it's. Yeah, it's basically just like an open world of a bunch of like islands, etc. Steam rig, so I get like a boat to
You have enrolled an officer. They command a mighty warship to defend your trade routes.
So a boat, yeah. So I guess we get some defense boat kind of dealio. Which makes... There is quite a lot. I do like what the game is going on right now. Yeah, so basically, I guess you can like either accept or decline, but so far it just says this one just transports workers, so I guess I could try and...
There is no stone available for this upgrade. The political balance in our settlement is changing in favor of the Mansa order.
Yeah, so far you can kind of just accept a bunch of... Like just overlay, I guess just a bunch of... Essentially just whatever, but you can essentially start transporting... Like this one is pretty well done. Like for example, I can just accept this and get a transport vessel with wood, iron, stone.
You have enrolled a trade ship captain. They can be assigned to transport goods. Buildings on the horizon. Your surveyor can build a mine on this spot.
Yeah, so it essentially looks like you can just kind of just start building / creating. Like right now I can see I have like a almost an army of like for example I can assign you can kind of see. Yeah, so that one you still do need to create like almost like a line. So I guess you can kind of still just keep building and building.
This is too close to something else.
Yeah, so orange means it's not available, but black can. Which I feel like it should be the reverse. If
This trade route is now connected. The
yeah.
captain can transport their specific goods back and forth.
Yeah, so essentially now I have iron and access to iron at this location, so... So now I can actually, like...
You have no available commanders on your roster. Commanders and their valuable retinue can be found across the Earthsea.
Yeah, so you can essentially just kind of create / build, but it essentially leaves you don't have to worry about like the time. But yeah, so from the looks of it, if they made that a little bit more clear, then it would be immensely helpful. But right now it's just basically, hey, you get this kind of dealio. For example, that's only giving me like stone, but if I were to go here, it should hopefully upgrade the stone, which it does. So I guess you have to, in order to upgrade the stone, you have to be connected to a specific type of thing, which I don't know how much that these would do, but essentially kind of creating just a bunch of Great Walls of China. So far, I'm liking it. It's enjoyable in terms of just kind of just build and relax. Yeah, essentially you kind of just create big old, like, almost citadel-like structures and just keep on just trucking through and all that. Yeah, so it seems like there's like 6 different, if they made it where it just like auto locks to 6 different, so somewhere it looks like there's like just a 6 different or 6 different angles that you can place stuff, but if they made it where it just auto locks to 6, then it would work completely fine, no issues or anything. Or like 4, I don't know how many it locks to automatically, but so you can kind of create your own structure / citadel, kind of. Like here, I can go back to this big old large tower and just create a big old gargantuan thing that will just attach to the side.
The incline is too steep to build upon.
Yeah, so there is some kind of limit. You see, you can build kind of almost just a huge structure kind of things, but place them around, build them up, you just go crazy is what they said essentially.
The political balance in our settlement is changing in favor of the monarchy. A refugee settlement has been spotted on the horizon. Perhaps we can take these people in.
Yeah, so you can, I guess you get these random outposts that you can like try and do whatever you want with them.
Excellent. We have an outpost that provides workers. Be mindful of an outpost's allegiance. This influences the balance of power for your settlement.
Yeah, this looks like there is a large, at least right now it doesn't say I have a huge influence on certain things, but yeah, that's looking, I mean, so far I'm just kind of just spamming whatever I'm doing. I'm just so far just spamming and creating whichever looks really interesting in terms of just Just nice. I mean, it's a nice kind of almost building
The
aspect.
political balance in our settlement is changing. A refugee settlement. You have enrolled a trade ship captain. They can be assigned to transport goods.
I'm curious. I'm not sure if it will actually like go further and beyond or what. Like, I'm curious about going to the like maw over there, or how it deals, or what it is like. Because it looks like it's just huge open world, expansive.
A ship has entered. You have enrolled a trade ship captain. They can be assigned to transport. A refugee settlement has been spotted on the horizon. Perhaps we can take these people in. The political balance in our settlement is changing.
And here we are at the maw. At least is what it says according to the map here. Looks like it's just a completely new area so far. There is a structure. Oh, that is kind of interesting. Just a big old dip in the ocean here. But there is definitely like people over here. This is there was definitely a settlement over there, but doesn't necessarily say what or who, I guess.
This resource extractor is missing access to workers.
Oh, it doesn't seem like that. So it
A
doesn't
local
like.
storm has been spotted nearby. Some factions use these as the political balance in our
let's just try some combat right now. I don't even know if I'm getting there or not. Or... So far it's interesting, but it does need a little bit of work. I get it's still in early. I get it's still in early access, but it does need a little bit of work in terms of just. It's not, I mean, it's optimized completely fine for a small indie developer. It works fine. Do wish that there was some clarifications, for example, that combat. Either if they provide at least some kind of visuals like health or who's getting attacked and what is it, or just simply like doing blue as your attacks while red as the enemies or something like that, then that would be a little bit more clear. But right now it's just not showing much. The tutorial's a little bit confusing at times, but I can somewhat understand it just needs a little bit of clarification. But apart from that, I think it's good and has some potential down the line. See ya.